Hey, glad you can make it. Welcome to Fantasy Dad Pods, where dad bods are glorified and dad jokes are encouraged. I'm JT, accompanied by Sean. Sean, how we doing?
We doing good, doing good. It was got a couple warm days here, 70 degrees back to back days here, but the gods have forsaken us after that. It's going to be in the 60s again, low 60s starting tomorrow. I don't know why they gave us 2 warm days and then baseball starts and boom, 60s.
They got
Over
carried
here,
away. There was like tornado warnings in the Pacific Northwest. Like
yeah,
it
it
got too
hailed.
out of hand.
It hailed on the west side, like it just got crazy. So we did that. We had our first T-ball practice. It was supposed to be Tuesday, canceled, pushed back a day. It was today. Son did okay, focused. He went up to hit righty like everybody else was. Hands were in the wrong spot because he normally hits lefty. Coach got him, hit righty, and then he hit righty really well. But he is a lefty, so well he bats both. He has gone up T-ball, batted both sides each time. I think he's more of a natural lefty though. So I'm like, hey, next time we just got to go do lefty. Like that's your natural over there. That's fine. So but he did that, and then but the kicker for me was like we're leaving, we're done, and he sees we're at the park near our house. I don't want to shout out too much of where we live, but park near our house that JT, with all the baseball fields, and he's
Yeah.
walking by and he sees this big slide. And he's like, "Oh, dude, that looks fun." I'm like, "It does look fun." But then he's like, I'm like in the car. I'm like, "Okay, so did you like that? Did you have fun?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to go on the slide." I'm like, "Okay, well, like, what about the t-ball thing?" Like, he's like, "Yeah, that was fun. I want to tell mom about the slide." I'm like, "We didn't even go on the slide. Just walked past it at the end." Like, we also walked by in the beginning, and you like for some reason didn't like see it at all, but at the very end, you're like, "Whoa, that looks legit." And I'm like, "Okay, but like, and like, this is near our house, buddy. We can go like anytime. Like, we can walk there. We can go anytime.
Yeah.
Like, we literally walk down to those restaurants every week, like down at the by the gas station. So like, we can walk there." And he's like, No, like I don't want to." Or like it's like that's all that we focused on. So I was like, well, he had a good time. He focused, but we'll see how next week goes. I'm worried that if it's at the same place, he will be distracted by the slide.
That's going to
So
be the question. Hey, baseball practice. She's like, is it the slide one or. 'Cause I don't know if I want to go or not,
yeah,
Dad.
I describe him as if you've seen Family Guy, and there's that it's I can't remember. It's a really old episode. Is it Cleveland's son or somebody like that? And he's a really good athlete, but he's really distracted. So Peter like adopts him in his like father son thing, and he's like really good at golf. And he's like, they're gonna win golf tournament. He's killing everybody, and at the very end, he's like, "Oh, I don't want to do golf. I'm gonna run off and play soccer," and he just does it. And like that's the oldest. I wouldn't say he's like the most athletically gifted, but just will not pay attention long enough to ever to never really even probably make college because he'd be good enough to be a good high school athlete, but he just won't focus enough because he doesn't like love the sports yet. Maybe he will find one that he loves, but that's
Yeah.
fine, But like I've always noticed that about him. He's like, I'm really good at this because I've told this story here where he's 3 years old and I'm pitching to him underhand pitch before t-ball anything. He's never hit on a tee, and we're in the backyard. He's cranking a couple over the wall, lefty. Then he switches and hits righty, hits one over the wall, then hit a ton over the wall because that's why I think he's more of a natural lefty. But he switch hits balls over the wall in our backyard at 3. 2 years later, he's playing t-ball. He's like, I want to look at the slide. I'm like, dude, 2 years ago you were hitting balls over the wall, like as I'm pitching them to you, not on a tee. Like you're already at the next level. And he's like, nah, man, like that slide looks legit. So I'm like,
Yeah.
he's that kid, and that's fine. But that's yeah, I got to try to focus him. Just it's more about like meeting the other kids and kind of playing right now with this kid. You can play with the slide, but like I'm just here to get your social skills, talk to their kids, do that stuff
Oh,
because I
yeah.
know you don't want to play baseball that bad, but you have fun. He enjoys it. He wants to go back, but like no scholarship is probably coming out of it. But I'm like, buddy, you got to focus on the other kids. Like that's why we're here. Like learn your social skills, learn your buddies. And kind of here we are. We're
Yeah.
getting kids that are going to be in your school. Like let's go. And
Right.
so maybe they can learn to slide with you. Like that's really the whole point. Focus on the slide during the actual baseball thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
invite them after to play on the slide. Well, how about that? We'll have 20 minutes
Yeah.
after next time. But
No.
yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's it. And then the youngest got a little fever, so I had to pull him out of daycare yesterday. So he hung out with me today. So that was about it. Nothing crazy. Just Rhino's a little temp. It's hard. We've probably also talked about this on the pod. Like kids when they tease, man, it's like you never know teething. Like that's one thing that new parents aren't taught because it looks just like a cold. You have no idea, and
Right.
you're always, the early stages of life. You're like, is this kid teething or is he just sick? And you're like, I don't know. You're just I don't know for a couple of days, and like, do we give him some medicine? Like, you can give him some Tylenol to keep the temperature down, but after that, we're just like, let's not and see if he's any better, if it's just a teething or is he actually sick. So it's a weird when people aren't like, when you're an adult, you get sick, you're like, I'm sick, but like, and they're like, oh, when a kid like has a cough, are you sick? And they're the parents who have had a kid before, they're like, let's just wait 2 days and see if you actually are sick or not before we make any judgments or take you to a doctor to get you some medicine. Like, we'll just see if it's teeth.
Right.
And so that's what we're at this week. And I think he's sick, but like either way, he's a trooper. He handles it pretty good. So yeah, that's the home front. Some new t-ball and a little cold over here. What about you?
Let's see. Friday had the Watchdog Dad thing where I was at the
Yeah,
school the whole day.
and you're
Um,
watching him like a hawk. You called
right.
Nighthawk.
It was fun. It went by super quick. I didn't even like eat lunch. I just like hung out and talked with different kids. Said
What
hi.
was for lunch?
Pizza.
Is it still those square pizzas?
No, it's triangle. It looked
Oh,
pretty normal, legit pizza.
oh, like a restaurant or like a pizza place type thing. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So there's that or a sub sandwich. Might have been one other thing, but I don't know. So
okay.
I like did meet and greet with the kids, like give them a high five. Like seriously, as much coaching as I have done over the years, I knew at least like 3 to 5 kids in every lineup for every class for K through third. And then I knew a few fourth graders from basketball. I didn't know any fifth graders,
Yeah.
but like it was kind of surreal. It was kind of
Did
like,
you get
wow.
flagged? They're like, this guy knows a bunch of the kids already. Like,
They're like,
flag
why
him.
does everybody go give him like a bump or a high
Yeah.
five or
Why does
know
this
his
kid know
name?
so many third graders?
So meet and greet, and then I got my youngest class first. They were doing a little bit of reading, a little bit of like writing with the pencil, like it was good. And then went out to recess with them right after that. And
What's the
then
hit game on recess nowadays? Is there something that they're
um
we're big fly ups early on in my elementary recess.
oh,
I don't know if
okay.
is that still going down?
It's kickball for this age because
Okay.
it's kindergarten first went out for recess first.
Okay.
So it's the 6 and 7 year olds basically. It was the kickball, tag, and then just a bunch of playing on the jungle gym and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So that was the only sport was really kickball. And then so we did recess, and then I went to a different class, a third grade class. They were doing tetrinos, I think it was called. It was like Tetris shapes, and like how many
Okay.
Tetris shapes could fit in like an 8 by 10,
Oh,
and
I've
they're
seen some of
like,
them.
is it
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
fit perfectly or why not? And it had explained. So it's kind of cool, like math, and so trying to they could get the answer quick, right? Is it going to fit or not? But they had to like a short, succinct sentence. So it was kind of different. And then I joined them in music for like 10 minutes. And right as they started singing, I went to lunch for the youngest again. So then it was like an hour and a half of back to back, 45 minutes of lunch recess for K through 2. And so I hung out with my youngest. I met a bunch of his friends. We went out on the playground, played a bunch of friends, playing tag and having fun. And then I said, okay, see you later. I'm going to go join lunch with my oldest. Third grade through fifth grade was eating. And then I like again was like socializing the whole time and then kind of hung out with them. And then we went outside and they were like, we play Foursquare. Like that's what we do right now. I was like, all right, bet, I'm game. Like, let's do it. So they were like, well, you're at the end of the line. I was like, oh wow, no no like courtesy for the new guy. Like, so I had to earn my way to the top, immediately became the king seat. And then they were like, okay, you get to pick a rule. I'm like, what? And they're like, you get the whole time we've been doing teapot. And what teapot is, if the king hits the ball towards you, teapot rule means you have to hit it back to the king. And I'm like, guys, if you're the king, you want to be in the king. You don't want if action comes your way, you're for it, but you don't want all the action because that's statistically you might miss something and then you're not the king anymore. So I'm
Exactly.
like, lame rule. I said, what are my options? And so they listed them off. I go one-handers only. So you only had to do one hand. So my wingspan compared to I was just like Dikembe Mutombo, just and so it was fun. We played, and then actually saw a couple fourth and fifth graders basketball, and they challenged us. So we went over and I brought a couple of the third graders with me. And we played basketball, which was pretty fun. It was basically, as if you put again Dikembe. I literally had no mercy. I was like, I am going to show you that dads can still ball. I'm watchdogging for all dads out there. I got their back.
Yeah.
So
You gotta lock it down.
No holds.
If you're gonna send that weak stuff here, it's gonna go back out.
Right?
Did you Tim Duncan anybody? Like let them know the bank was still open during the day?
Oh yeah, super windy. All I had was the bank.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's never not open, dude. It's never not open.
Yeah. So we went straight to my oldest third grade classroom, and she goes, "Oh, I'm going to have you play a game in the hallway." And I didn't want to be the jokester, because I know my oldest very much is, so kind of need to rein it in. So in my head, I made a joke.
There's a little bit behind that story.
Right?
Okay.
So in my head, I'm like, "Oh, we're going to be rolling dice in the hallway for money or something?" Like internal joke. She literally grabs a basket, turns around. "You're going to be rolling dice in the hallway." And I was just like, what the heck? I was lost it. So what we did was roll 2 dice, multiply that number together, and then count out those spaces on like a board of 120 squares. So it was a little multiplication, a little bit of addition, a little, competition. And so it was good. We just turned through a bunch of kids, got them some extra math thing. That's all she kind of wanted me for that day. And then I went to a second grade classroom, and they were pretty much done for the day. So I just helped on some makeup homework and some questions, and then just kind of hung out. Okay. So it was fun. It was a blast. It went by really fast, and it was cool. It was just cool to just hang out. But yeah, otherwise the youngest started baseball practice, and oldest we just had back-to-back nights of scrimmages. He got to pitch 1 inning tonight, just kind of.
And how did that go?
Well, that was the thing, was the coach was, I've only been around for a few practices because I've been coaching my youngest.
Yeah.
And the coach was like, "Yeah, I'm going to have Garrett pitch today, see how he does." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, Garrett's solid. He will pound the strike zone. He is throwing right-handed Jamie Moyer because that's not what he's about, like he wants strikeouts. So
he's Kirby. He's not giving you a free pass.
Yeah, he's not reaching back though. He's not cranking it. He's just kind of, Yeah. But I'm just like,
at that level though, that's not the worst thing.
He struck out the side.
I was gonna say,
he struck out the side in 12 pitches.
Yeah.
And the coach was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Make contact at that level.
He goes, "Oh my gosh, where did that come from?" And I just deadpanned him. And I said, "Coach, he's a very good pitcher. The only thing is if you get a good hitter, he's gonna get a hold of one. Like." It's literally a hit or miss. Like, it's either going to strike out or you're going to, and that's the problem. I said in our playoff game last year, his first game, he got super roughed up. In his second game, he went 2 innings, 22 pitches through 17 strikes and had 5 strikeouts over 2 innings. Yeah. Like, it is literally like,
if you're not a good hitting team, if you're the Mariners and you can't hit very good, you're getting mowed down.
Oh yeah.
If you're the Dodgers.
So. It was cool. It opened his eyes, and so I think he'll get some pitching opportunities,
there we go.
Which is good. The kids learned a lot. We got a long ways to go still, and but yeah, it was good. Baseball's here. I'm ready for it.
There we go. Speaking of ready for it, we're gonna go over some baseball teams. And for those that don't know, JT had a draft. I'm gonna come at this blindly. JT has hidden the team names and the teams from me, so I don't know who they are. So I'm going to fire some stuff off. But before we do that, we got a couple people who surprisingly made rosters. I'll start with one, JT.
Okay.
I am shouting it out. Not fancy relevant, but Ryan Johnson of the Angels did make the opening day roster. It is important because he will not have spent any time in the minors. So that's a big deal. It's happened a couple times. Last time was because of a COVID situation. So that was with some Garrett Crochet guy. Turns out to be pretty good, fancy relevant. But so that's pretty cool. Campbell, the second baseman for the Red Sox. I almost said White Sox, sorry. Sorry, Red Sox fans. Made the roster. JT, got anybody else?
Yeah, the big one, pitching wise, Jackson Jobe. I mean,
Mm.
it was kind of foreseen, but I got him. I think in some random 15 team league, so I'm kind of excited about that. Cam Smith, Houston. Again, only like 32 games in the minors. He was in the Kyle Tucker trade from the Cubs, so
Yeah.
Florida State guy, if I remember right. So
He was their big guy. He was having a crazy spring though, right? Like he didn't. I remember seeing like live footage of, was it Cespedes or one of these like Twitter, TikTok people
mhm.
who is a Cubs fan, and they watched that and they're like, "Oh, we have Kyle Tucker," and they watched him hit 2 dingers in like his first game. They're like, "We traded that guy," and someone's like in the video was like, "It's spring training, game 1." like
Mhm.
just slow your roll. Like he's not gonna do
Yeah.
this every game, but he did make the roster because he had a good spring. So
And
is what
then
it is.
actually, the Astros have another guy, one of their top prospects. They're both big dudes, Cam Smith and Zach DeZenzo. They're both like 6'4", 220, third base, first base type profiles. And so he's going to be that bench thing, but like, Christian Walker had the oblique stuff, so maybe he'll spell him a little bit more early on here because he only got like 7 at bats just recently, and they think he's going to be good to go for opening day tomorrow. So, yeah, Astros are loaded. It's kind of what it is. But otherwise, there might have been one other. Oh, the catcher for the Yankees, kind of cool story. He's quite a bit older. I want to say he was like 28, but he's breaking camp with the Yankees as the backup catcher, JC Escara. So always a nice story finally to get your big league cup of coffee.
Yeah, yeah. Some surprises, but for the most part, I feel like I don't want to call it chalk, but there's I think next year is going to be the year we're going to get a lot of these young guys. Padres have a couple of young guys coming up. The Mariners got a couple of young guys coming up. I think next year spring training will be the debuts of a lot of fellas, I think, coming out of spring training. I think that's going to be this one. This year has a couple names, but I think really next year is going to be kind of the one where you're like, oh my gosh, this spring training, this start of the season is going to be awesome. Because I do think that the kudos to Major League Baseball. I think their new rookie rules and extra picks are actually working. So, and they're not, service time. I think it's helping a little bit. So I'm glad that they did that. So getting to these lineups, let's break it down here. It's a standard snake/keeper head-to-head total categories. We got innings pitched, quality starts, saves, ERA, WHIP, K to walk, home runs, RBI, stolen bases, OBP, and slug. So nothing crazy. I want to say this. One team caught my eye in particular right away. Easily, right now, my favorite for team. I, again, do not know who this is.
Okay. I'm taking notes on the side.
First baseman Bryce Harper, Marcus Semien, and Matt Chapman.
Okay.
Miles Shaw is the shortstop. I get it. But the outfield of Alvarez, Butler, and Ronald Acuna Jr. when he comes back, that's looking very nice, along with George Kirby and Skubal to lead this, along with Hader and Iglesias as the two closers you got there. Is that Robbie Ray on the bench as well?
Yeah, Ray's on the bench, and Jaron Duran or Jaron Duran,
Puck, and Schwellenbach.
So 3 legit closers. Yeah.
And Painter, Pepio. Yeah, that is my. I glanced, and I didn't even glance below that. I went, that's the favorite. So there you go.
Yeah, and they went with the prospects. They got Painter and Bubba Chandler.
Yep.
For keeper potential.
That is a nice roster to start. So like I just saw that when I was glancing. So I don't know if we have to go through all. I guess we could go through all of them. We got time here. I can go kind of fast though. The first team: Contreras, Freddie Freeman, Alvarez, Chisholm, Swanson of the infield. That's pretty solid. But again, it's players that I feel. Contreras, very good catcher. Freeman, very solid. Alvarez is not my cup of tea, but he does do one thing very well. Jazz Chisholm's going to fill up that stat sheet with the sexy numbers, but again, average. But you have Alvarez to cancel that out. Dansby Swanson is a solid player. Seiya Suzuki and Aaron Judge in the outfield. I mean, Steer's out there, but thanks for playing. I mean, he's fine, but the other two are there. Byron Buxton, if he's healthy, love it. The issue then comes to you're being led with BB and Glass now as your 1-2 with Sonny Gray, who's hurt, McClanahan, Rondon, Eflin, some solid guys, but that is not a true dude. But Emmanuel Clase as your stud arm in the pen does help, but I just feel like it's a crazy weak staff in general.
Mhm.
A lot of solid picks, but no dudes. That's
So
kind of a lot of number 3s on fantasy rosters.
Where'd you put, like, if you said top, what, third or middle third?
It's going to be struggling for playoffs, I believe.
Bottom third-ish? Okay. I'm just going to keep kind of some notes on the side for fun.
I haven't looked at all of them, so like it might change as I go.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't. Judge is huge, but I don't think Judge is going to have a 200 WRC plus this year. It's hard to assume Darren Judge is either going to hit 62 home runs or just be double an average hitter. I think he'll regress a little bit. Call me crazy. He'll just have a 180 WRC plus. You know,
Right.
like, just call me insane, and he might not run away with a MVP. But a solid team, not one that you're out. But I do think it's a bottom tier team, unfortunately, just because the starting pitcher. I'm a starting pitcher fiend, so like it's just so it's pretty. BB is your number 1 guy who did get extended, by the way. That did come out, but it's just relying on Glasnow's health really is like where that comes from, and you need to let him to pitch a lot of innings, and I'm just like, man, I don't know. So next team, Paredes, Westberg, Adley Rutschman, O'Neill Cruz, Langerhans. As your catcher. You do got Bogarts behind him. Michael Harris, Soler, and Kristen Yelich in the outfield. I feel like a fine outfield, but with a lot of you are missing at least one top tier player out there. Jock Peterson off the bench is nice. You know, he's going to get 400 bats, maybe 350 at bats, hit 20 home runs, but that'll help the outfield. But again, it's he's a part-time player. King, Woodruff, Imanaga, Evaldi. Again, it is a fine rotation. It's a lot on Imanaga there. Oh, Zach Wheeler's down there. Wait, is that right? Did they sneak Wheeler in there?
They must be on their bench, or maybe he's a keeper, so it's technically later round.
The first couple guys taken are up there, but okay. So
Gunnar Henderson, did you say him? See him?
Okay, he's kept. Okay, so yeah.
So first 2 picks were Gunnar and then Zach Wheeler.
So. There we go. Why is that doing that? But okay, yeah. So that makes a lot of Gunnar Henderson and Zach Wheeler. You're gonna that does change this roster a lot.
Austin Riley and then O'Neill Cruz. Those are their first 4.
Okay, Austin Riley, Gunnar Henderson. The outfield is still weak. Munoz and Devin Williams is a sick bullpen though. Yeah, Romano as well.
Yep.
And Ryan. So I mean I like that's nice.
I think Joe Ryan's a sleeper pitcher.
I like Joe Ryan a lot. So I think I just was wondering, I'm like, man, you don't have an ace or a 1 or 2, but a deep sleeper with King and Ryan. I like those guys as 3s rather than a 2, but you kind of need to be 2, maybe a 1. But I was like, okay, you have Zach Wheeler, so it bumps everybody down, and I'm like, I feel a lot better about where those guys are because you're not relying on Ryan as much, and Evaldi will eat your innings once he's able to. Woodruff, whatever we get out of him, I think he'll be fine if he plays, but like that's the whole other thing. That's a good team. That's definitely, I would say, probably in the playoffs at this point, top 6.
Okay.
Right now. Next team, Naylor, Horner. This is where it gets. Ruiz, not a fan. Joy Bart, not a fan. Naylor, not a fan at first base. Horner, not a fan at first base at second. I like Berger as a sleeper at third. I don't know what the options could have got there, but Bobby Witt, shortstop, GOAT. Like, just his best shortstop in baseball right now. Hot take?
No. Gunnar
Harrison's my number 2, but like I love Gunnar Harrison. I was all about it. I was spamming that button last year, but Bobby Witt's a beast. I will not put up a 10 WAR this season, but I mean, still a great player. Santander, Kyle Schwarber, Mike Trout. A little nervous, but they do have Riley Green to come off the bench to play in the outfield, so that is nice. Manny Machado also on the bench, so can be there for Berger if need be. So that's not too bad. I still think it's a little top heavy. Like Bobby Witt's carrying a lot of this water. I like Berger, but like I feel you got one dude out of all your hitters. I feel like here. Crochet, I like him, but again, we talked about this. Like one season, man. You're investing a lot into one season, and it just makes me a little nervous. Snell, I like, but again, has flaws. Clay Holmes, Scott, as your relief pitchers, that's fine. And Diaz, other Diaz as bullpen guys, that's fine. Is that
Bryce Miller.
This is Bryce Miller? Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
I had
Freddie
to go.
Peralta,
Yep.
all solid relief pitcher. Freddie Peralta's good.
Pitching staff is like, wow. Crochet, Snell, Reynaldo Lopez,
Yep.
Ober, Peralta, Bryce Miller, and I think that's Clay Holmes.
I assume it's Clay Holmes.
Like,
right?
that's a lot of starting pitching.
It is. The question is like, it's a higher upgrade of the one before. There's a lot of number 2s here, I feel like. But if Snell's not MVP, Snell need regresses and is a 4, and Crochet is just, again, he's had 120 good innings. I'm like, man, if Garrett is hurt or not that dude in Boston, I like Bryce Miller a lot and I like Peralta a lot, but I'm comfortable with them being your 2s. But if they have to be your 1s, you do have a lot of number 2s though. To be fair on this one, I like Clay Holmes a lot. You have a lot of number 2s, so it might be enough. There's just so much depth. Like their number 7 pitcher is really good. I love it. I just feel like it's like 7 number. I'd be comfortable with 7 number 2s on this team. I feel like I just don't know if I'd be comfortable with having these as my best pitcher, and that's more of me and a Crochet thing and a like Snell thing, because those are 2 guys that I think some people would say is the number 1, but they're just not number 1s for me. But that is a man. Just that offense though is a little middle third. I know I've gone like top 6, bottom third, middle third. So we'll go middle third for this one.
I think I'd lean, that fringe playoff.
It's honestly, as crazy as it sounds. I love Kyle Schwarber, Santander, and not in Baltimore, even though they brought the fences in now. Toronto, it's fine. He's not that old where he scares me. Riley Green's great off the bench. It's gonna come down to how much does Mike Trout play? Because if Mike Trout tells me, I was listening to a podcast today, he plays 125 games, I'd be like, you've got 125 games of Mike Trout, you're probably in the playoffs with this rotation. And Bobby Witt Jr., and Riley Green, and Manny Machado, and Jake Berger. The first 3 guys, Horner's going to steal some bases for you. That's fine. But like, and Bobby, between Horner and Bobby Witt, you're probably going to be good there. So like, he's got Hamilton off the bench too. Obviously can do that. So like, he's going to spam some stolen bases, and he just needs Mike Trout to really just play like a little bit more than half the season. You're probably in the playoffs, but it is a gamble. So middle third, but like I could see it either way. Next team, Adley Rutschman, nice. Alex Baum, solid. Ozzy Albies, I have to let it go. He is a solid second baseman. I know it's mine, but he is good. Josh Young, I just said get rid of my bias. No, don't like it. I don't like it at third base. Lindor, obviously love it. Neto as the backup. There you go. Camillario as the backup at third. Like that. Tatis, Duran, Chirino, outfield with Crow Armstrong also out there. Willie Adames, Vinny Pasquantino, 2 nice bench spots can fill in as needed. I don't know all the positional eligibilities in this league, but don't mind that. Pitching though, Steele is your 1. Well, Webb is your 1. Unless I gotta scroll down here now to like double check if I'm missing anybody.
Yeah, Webb Steele is 1-2.
Steele 1-2. I mean, those are innings eaters. At least Webb is, but I'm just Scherzer on here, kind of high up. Fott, Pivetta. It's pretty weak, to be honest. And only one, and Ryan Presley is your closer. That's pretty weak. That's bottom half, unfortunately. That's bottom half. Like what it could be, but it's gonna have to be. You're gonna have to pick up some pitching during the season. Logan O'Hoppe, sneaky, like him. Matt Olson and Spencer Torkelson always got a soft spot for the Torque man, but he's your backup, so that's fine. Morale at second, Venutos at third. I love Venutos, but only is there another third baseman on this roster? I can't see position eligibility, but Ellie De La Cruz still in this league has pitches third. That's kind of a question. I think it is. If it does, playing him at third, you have Corey Seager. You can play him at shortstop. Love it.
Let me locate the team, and I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, Mason Wynn. I've said my love for Mason Wynn on this podcast before. Love that. Teoscar Hernandez, Garcia, and Dominguez in the outfield. A little weak. Logan Thomas. There's a lot of fine players, but no, I would say good players. But Ohtani is on the bench. Is this a dual pitcher / hitter league, or is it one or the other?
This is our fan. Yeah, the fan track. So he's
both.
It's
Okay.
daily. Yeah, daily moves, and he can
He
be
goes both
both.
ways. Got it.
And then
Okay.
to clarify, Ellie is third eligible, and Morel is third eligible,
Okay.
and that's
Okay.
it for
I like
third.
Menudos, but it is nice to have an option for Ellie to go over there and Corey Seager to slide in at shortstop if need be. So that is totally justifiable. Otani also is a beast. The problem again kind of comes from the pitching. Bradley, Sanga, Aaron Getty, Hauk, Keller. I like some of these guys. Don't like them as your dudes. Bednar and the good Diaz brother. Sorry. As your closers, fine closers. Bednar will bounce back. How much is going to bounce back with Pittsburgh is the problem. Middle tier, probably to lower tier for this team. It's just a lot of it's just coming down to like teams that just don't have any pitching, and it's half the categories. It's half the categories. You're going to have to load up on starting pitching then.
Yep.
Next team, Salvador Perez at first, Yandy Diaz, Jose Altuve with Donovan and India, Gino at third, Correa at shortstop, Tommy Edmonds, Juan Soto, Ward, Gurriel, Victor Robles on the outfield, Cronenworth, Max Muncy, Fried, Nola, Kikuchi, Gossman, Flaherty, Blanco, Helsley, Foley, Penn, Suarez as well. Quickly looking at this, I say bottom tier. Say bottom 6. I do not think this is a playoff team as it stands right now. Love Max Fried and Nola. Don't love the options beyond that. I think it takes a huge dive off. Gossman's like fine, and Jack Flaherty kind of down on, Kikuchi kind of down on. So, and that outfield, love on Soto, but Tommy Edmonds and Ward is the other two guys. Love Max Muncy, but you already have Gino, and I just feel like you could have used another option there. Don't love Diaz, don't love Perez. Man, Altuve looks lost out there. I don't know how it's going to affect his bat. Sorry, bottom tier. Okay, Austin Wells, Cody Bellinger at first, Marte, Ornel Arenado, Mookie Betts. Okay, skinny Mookie Betts though. Did they know that when they were drafting? Skinny now. Okay, so I am 5'5", and I outweigh Mookie Betts. I'm just throwing that out there right now. So officially, okay. So Randy Rosarina, Doyle, Wood, Cabrera, Mullins, Crew, Volpe. Like Cruz, like Volpe. It's a lot to put in those kids, but you do have Mookie Betts, so you don't have to rely on them. Hunter Green, Yamamoto, Singer, Strider. Sorry, got the hiccups. Mackenzie Gore, DeGrom, Berrios. Not a big Berrios fan, but I mean, if everybody's healthy, that's your 7th, 8th starter. Spencer Strider, Brady Singer, Batista, and Jansen as your closers. Boston and Baltimore, pretty good teams. I don't know how they are anymore, and they both have questions for various other marks. But man, I put a lot more teams in the bottom tiers than the top tiers. I think that one team just like got in my head. It's very hurting to that one team.
You got 3 in the top and 4 in the bottom. So I mean, you're kind of
okay. So oh man, can we question mark this one?
I'll put them right in the middle and question mark them
for now because it's going to depend on where the other teams fall. If I think they're better than it.
Okay.
So with the next one, okay, here we go. Correa, Harper. Oh wait, we just said that.
This is the one that you liked.
Yep. Okay, so we'll skip that one. So Wong, Pete Alonso, Jimenez, Vlad, Bobichette. Whoa, that is a Toronto infield. Wow. Okay. Pete Alonso was almost a Blue Jay, it sounds like, too. So that's funny. George Springer's in the outfield here. What is happening? I'm quickly checking for any other Blue Jays on the pitching staff. Okay. Hap, Nimmo, and Luis Robert Jr., Castellanos, Profar, Logan Gilbert, Chris Sale, Kershaw, Severino. What do the bold ones mean? Are these like...
Technically, they're bench.
Hurt? Okay. Or benched? Okay.
Yeah.
Hurt or benched?
No, benched. Hurt would be pink.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I just say that because Royce Lewis and Kershaw are here and they're both hurt, so I was like, they're both highlighted. So okay, Gilbert, love it. Sale, love it. Kershaw, when healthy, love it. Talked about that. Severino, solid pitcher. Gallen, very good there. Seth Lugo, love him. Valdez, love him. Hoffman, McGill, solid. Severino again. Severino is like everybody's healthy, full go. He's like your 7th pitcher. That's like awesome. It's just gonna be how much does the Toronto Blue Jays middle infield hit? Like and the outfield's really weak. Like to be completely honest, the outfield's really weak. Solid players. Robert Jr. could go 2020, should go 2020. Nemo's fine. Haps underrated, I feel like, but he's not. Oh man, let's go. I'm not buying Bo Bichette and Jimenez bouncing back. Man, I don't know though. I just that I love the rotation. The outfield is just so weak. I'm gonna go bottom half.
So they're below the question mark team.
Below the question mark team.
Okay. I will.
Yeah.
Yep.
Contreras, Clan, Bregman, Edwards, Kwan, Merrill, Kyle Tucker, Corbin Burns, Reagans, Schmidt, Miller, Walker, Alcantara, Luis Castillo, Nestor Cortez Jr. This is not JT's team.
That's what we should have played. Is this JT's team or not?
That one though, JT?
Not my team, right? Yeah. Yeah.
You see, that would throw me off. If you drafted him, it'd be like, Sean will never guess this, and I would never have guessed it.
Psych. I've been playing the long game, just like.
Well, yeah, not to get the best team, just to like, so I wouldn't guess your team.
Gotta do it for content.
Man, I think underrated, sneaky, really, really good team. I love the outfield is all different. Kwan and Merrill do different things. Kyle Tucker's just a beast. Bregman in that he's going to be totally fine in Boston. I feel like we talked about this. Boston's a good fit for him. McClann, like Cincinnati, like he just needs to do part of what he did last year. I don't think he's going to do what he did last year, but can you just give me 80% of last year? That's a good player. Contreras as your starting veteran. Moreno as your backup catcher. That's really nice too. Reagans and Burns, awesome. Castellano as your 5th starter is awesome. Obe, love the hype. Miller, Walker is your closers. Walker is a Cougar, JT. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that until today.
And he always had the funky delivery. I recently, this year, I found it out. I didn't even know it last year.
I found out yesterday that he was a Cougar. I was like, man, he's really good. And they're like, he's Cougar. I was like, what? Like, I feel like I should have smelled that on him, but fellow Cougar, I missed it. That's my bad. Sandy Alcantara, I've talked about his bounce back year. I like this team. I think top 6 for sure.
Cool.
Top 6. Okay, so Will Smith, Cassius, Halliday, Devers, CJ Abrams, sneaky. I like it though. Corbin Carroll, Fetty, Langford. Okay. Turner, Walker, and Zardo. Okay. Pablo Lopez, Sasaki, Walker Buehler, Grayson Rodriguez, Baz. Oh, gotta love it. Weaver. I have 5 teams in the bottom right now. Right, I believe.
I think 4 or 5. I might have mistyped one. At least 4, if not 5.
I think I had 4 before, then I put 1. So I think I have 5.
I'm trying to. Yeah.
Let me look at the bottom. I'm gonna question mark that one.
Okay, I gotta find who it is with J-Ram. Okay, got him.
Yeah. I'm gonna question mark that one for now. I think that's gonna be bottom,
right next to the other question.
That's gonna be below the other question mark. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The other question mark is better. Cal Raleigh, Paul Goldschmidt, Luis Garcia Jr., J-Ram. This is J-Ram. Did you say that?
This is J-Ram.
This is J-Ram. That was Devers.
Yes, Devers is the question below. Got it. Yes, and so Gerald, this one is this.
Byron Reynolds, Julio Rodriguez, Brent Rooker, Carpenter, Ozuna. Okay. Cease, Paul Skeens. There's the Paul Skeens, man. There's the gas station. Hunter Brown, Chapman, Martinez, Brandon Wu, Estrada's, Suarez, Fairbanks. Okay. I think, man, I like that outfield in this team. With Reynolds as your worst and Ozuna off the bench, depending on what you need. Cease and Paul Skeens and Hunter Brown and Wu. Told me Wu pitched 150 innings. It would clearly be this team, but it's a huge but. Gleyber Torres is a sneaky. I like this. I like the contract he got. Tovar to Michael Bush. It's just Paul Goldschmidt. I dogged Paul Goldschmidt on this, and Fitzgerald. I'm not. Could be good, but that's just a lot to put in. Garcia Jr. too. Love Cal, love J Ram, love the outfield. Bench is nice.
So really quick before I
Yeah.
forget, so that Fitzgerald pick was 19th round out of 24. Also, that round was Wallner, and there was a gentleman's agreement bet. Whoever ends up as the better fantasy player at the end of the year, which they kind of was like, well, it's either going to be super obvious or maybe it'll be next year's ADP.
Yeah.
I think they just said, okay, I'll owe you something, like maybe a
Okay.
case of beer or something. So I
Okay.
thought that was kind of a fun
There we go. Okay.
twist during the draft. That's what home league's all about. A little banter and a little bit like 19th round. Like I think I got a better 19th rounder than you did.
So the bottom of the 2 question marks I have right now.
Okay, so where was this one? This last
That's
one?
what I'm gonna get to.
Okay.
Bottom of the 2 question marks goes in,
Bottom.
goes into my last bottom tier team. The other question mark and this last team go top 6.
Okay. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So I'm bumping
It's hard
people
to
up.
it's I think it's easier to say the good teams than the worst teams. Like it's easier to say which team I think will finish first versus I finished last because injuries play such a difficult spot in that.
Yeah,
In
it's
fantasy.
you're as of March 26th
Yeah.
on paper. Yeah.
I feel like it's easier to tier the bad teams than it is to like you could easily be like, okay, in the top 3 best teams, I can feel like it's these 3 pretty confidently right now, when healthy and everything is as it stands right now. But like bottom is just like the tiers I think are this because there's so many question marks with like once it starts going.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what I got. And whoever
All right.
is the Harper team, you're the best team.
Okay. Do you want to know who?
Yes.
So in the bottom, relatively, again,
Yeah. Whatever
it's just
order.
whatever it is. But roughly, you kind of had Scott in the bottom,
Okay.
Peter in the bottom, Tim in the bottom, our new guy Tommy, and then right below that bubble of question
Yeah.
marks was Rob. And
Okay.
so the question mark that you technically, said, I guess I got to put one more in the bottom would be Jordan, another new guy we have.
Okay.
So the bubble team that you raised up was Zach's team.
Okay.
The very last team there with J Ram was Bill,
Okay.
who you said, okay, definitely above the bubble right there. And then the teams that you like the most, I'm gonna say in order because I'm
Yeah.
kind of gonna be
Yeah.
bragging here at the end.
Yeah.
Kevin, Travis, Eric, and Bryce Harper was my team.
I
Weird
it's
surprise face.
like an outfield of Alvarez, Butler, and Acuna that's nice. I do not care that your shortstop is Shaw when you have Chapman, Simeon, and Harper, and I don't care who your catcher is at that point. And you have Kirby and Scooble. I mean,
Yeah.
that pen is gross too. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I got Bubba and
You have
Andrew.
You have 3 legit closers and AJ Puck. Like
Yeah.
4 dudes or 3 dudes in Puck.
Yeah, when Puck pitches, he's got that K to walk, and that's one of the stats in this one.
Yep.
Yeah,
And we
Bubba.
talked about it. I think he'll get the saves too at some point. I think he's gonna get back in there. So
My last 2 picks were Painter and Bubba, so we'll just kind of see if I have the luxury to sit on them or whatever. But
I think we'll see injury wise. But yeah, I love the rotation. That's nice.
And then
that's
Shaw is the question mark, but he was after, I don't know. I think like the 15th or 14th round or something.
So whatever.
He plays second, third, and short in Fantrax. So
do you have a backup shortstop for him?
Yeah, I have Willie Castro technically.
Oh, okay.
He plays everywhere.
Okay. And then see what's on the waiver wire at that point, or if you have to make a little trade or something.
Well, yeah, Acuna goes to the IL, and then I have some flexibility to grab whoever.
See what's on there.
So,
but yeah, like I said, like you're never gonna legit. But as soon as I was like, I went because I always go catcher, and I was like, weak catcher, and I was like, Harper, awesome, Simeon, great second baseman, still be Matt Chapman, very solid, love it. And I'm like, Shaw, I'm like, okay. Then I saw the outfield, I was like, man, this team is gross right now. There's like 2 weak spots, sort of, and everything else is awesome. And I was like, Kirby and Scuba, I was like, sold. I was like, say less. I was like, oh, and then Halo, and like, oh, okay. Oh, and Duran. I was like, oh, okay. Robbie Ray's your 7th starter. Okay, I was like, yeah, like this is well done, JT. Solid. Which one was Travis's team?
Travis, that was your 3rd favorite team. I think it was early on. Gunner, Zach Wheeler, where you missed it at first, and then once you like reassess
Oh
that,
yes,
you're
yes.
like, oh, actually, that's a yeah,
Nasty bullpen too, Munoz and
yeah,
Williams. Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yep.
this reflects current bench, and so he obviously is ready to move
Yep.
some to the IL real quick. But
Yeah. Gunnar Henderson, Austin Riley, the studs. Again, the outfield's a little weak, but they're all solid contributors. I don't like Michael Hudson much, but like again, he's not going to kill you. Solaire's fine. Yelich is fine. They're just none of them are sexy, but that you is starters and Penn is going to be gross, nasty. Even if
yeah,
you don't get anything out of Woodruff, like I'm like, King's your third or your third. You've got Ryan, you got Wheeler, you got sorry, you got Romano too, going to get you some saves with the other two. Evaldi's going to eat some innings. Like I like Westberg. Like Prentice
yeah,
too. I think was it on this podcast where I said Prentice might hit more home runs than Bregman this year because
yeah,
he was hitting in a short park. So that's super underrated too.
yeah,
Shane is a great catcher. Slept on. The ballpark's only going to help Shane as well. So that is fine. Like that is again like outfield's weak, but like every other position is good.
yeah.
Every other position. And Xander Bogaerts is a great bench guy to have. Like he's still like borderline starting shortstop, and if he's a bench player for you, that's awesome too. Like
Yeah.
totally fine. So
And
who's
then
Kevin's
you,
team?
well, Eric, sorry, third from the bottom, Eric, I had that queued up with Willem Contreras and like Kyle Tucker and Corbin Burns. That was the team that you really liked as well. That was Eric's team. And
Oh
then
yeah,
let me grab Kevin's team. Bobby Witt, Machado, Snell, Bryce Miller. So I think that was
Bobby,
towards the top. Third from the top
Bobby Witt, Jake
with
Bird. Yep,
Kyber
yep,
and yeah.
yeah. It was the Mike Trout team. How far does Mike Trout go?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yep.
But
Because
man,
again,
he's got a
like
ton of starting pitching and some pretty good offensive
yeah,
weapons.
he's got a nice mix because he's got actually, now I look at it too, he's got Schwarber and Berger just gonna hit dingers, and he's got the steals to counter it with Horner and Bobby Witt. They're gonna steal the bases he needs, like
Yeah.
just those two. And Hamilton off the bench, if he needs a spot start to get a couple steals, he's gonna come in and that's what he's gonna do. So I'm like, and Machado off the bench and Riley Green, like he's got fail safes for Mike Trout. So
And then to
there's a lot
rag
of
on
off ramps.
our buddy, whenever we get a chance, we have to rag on Rob. He
Yep,
was Mr. Toronto Blue Jays team.
Mr. Toronto Blue Jays, Rob. What?
Yeah.
It's just too much, man. It's just I just am down on Bo Bichette and Jimenez, and I'm not even that
He
big on
didn't
the
even like he didn't who was in years past who was just like super Atlanta Brave back when Freeman was on the team and
Adam.
yeah,
Yeah,
Rob didn't even do that. So Rob goes, let's see, well, Vladito, but then
yeah.
Gilbert, Polar Bear, Framber, Luis Jr., Zach Gallen, then Bichette, then Hap, then Sale, then Jimenez. So it's just like it was
But
fairly
Lewis had
spaced
Sale on a
out.
keeper, right?
He has Toronto's closer. Did you point that out?
No.
It's
Oh, he does.
oh my gosh. Okay, Mr. Toronto.
Wow, I didn't even see. I looked for Toronto. I didn't even. I missed
Springer
it.
was the 18th round. I mean, it's just like,
Get 5 Blue Jays, Rob.
so
I
good.
just Rob, I mean, I get it, and they're supposed to be a good team, but like Springer's on the down. Like Jimenez is a glove first guy. Bichette's been struggling, and we talked about is he lost or not. When we were talking about shortstop, I'm like, is he salvageable? And your response was kind of like, not really. And I was like, maybe. And like that's their starting shortstop. I mean, I get Royce Lewis is there, and hopefully that's like an option like later on. But like that's where you're going with this. And then Logan Gilbert, Chris Sale, I love it. Kershaw when he plays, that's great. When did he draft Kershaw? Please tell me like round 20.
Going back. I was gonna joke. I have commissioner power, so I just change his name for the day and be like Captain Canada or something like that. Let's see. The very last pick, 24th round.
Okay. Like I was just like, please don't tell me he went like round 18 or 17. Like it's fine because I talked about it. It's more for me because again, like when he pitches, it's gonna be awesome. It's just like, man, how many times are you gonna pitch for you? Like, it's a real
Right.
question. Love Seth
I mean,
Lugo and Val I mean, like the arms themselves almost brought this up. I just can't get over all the Blue Jays on offense. That's it. Like,
No.
if he had Santander, like, if he had him instead of Springer, he is in the top probably. It's like that much of a thing. But I don't trust Springer anymore. And like, you're telling me, like, if he had Santander instead of Nimmo, like, that's a whole different. Like, I love Santander way more than Nimmo. It would make this offense
Yeah.
in the outfield look so much better.
I mean, in terms of value, I think he got Royce Lewis in the 20th. I mean, like,
yeah.
So I mean, I don't think he did anything crazy. Just kind of how it panned out.
Yeah,
because I mean, Nimmo was his keeper, but in the 16th.
Yeah, and that's fine. But I'm just like, I'm like, if you had a keeper there, but I'm like, see, my issue is like right off the rip was like when you said third pick, was it Pete Alonso? I'm like, that's where I started to go off the rails for me. I'm like, I would have gone somewhere else than the third with Pete. I would have invested elsewhere. So
yeah, Riley went right ahead of Pete, but he's still on the board. Had Cease, Simeon, Albies, Acuna, Ozuna, Framber, O'Neill, bunch of pitcher. Yeah, so I mean, it's just kind of
that's it. It feels like it was just a couple.
Well, Vlad is third base eligible. Maybe he's going to switch. No, it reflects that. Never mind.
He is.
It reflects that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just, I feel third round there could have been a different option, of outfielder, something like that. Like, just there to be something better or to roll out there. But we'll see. It's Rob. He's going to probably this will be the year Clayton Kershaw does pitch 108 innings again. That is great. And it's Rob. You know what I mean? Like, we need. You know what? I'm now going to invest. I'm going to make a sports bet before the season starts. Kershaw MVP. Here we go. Like, knowing Rob, it'll happen. Royce Lewis. I see my Twins pick. Are we on another podcast? It's going to go because Royce Lewis will be an MVP because he's on Rob's team. He'll have the resurgence year. Come back, or not even resurgence. He'll be healthy. His body will work.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see someone got Trevor Story. Who got Trevor Story? The Quan Tucker. Oh, Eric. Right.
Yeah.
Like Eric's team a lot. Yeah. Eric's team's really nice. I mean, yeah. Corbin Burns and Mason Miller, like right there. Walker, Castillo, really, just later depth. Job. Bregman's gonna hit in Boston. Contreras at your catcher. Either the Contreras brothers at your catcher. Never bad. Never bad. So I like his outfield. Love his outfield. Quan, Merrill, and Tucker. Yeah. I'll do something different. Like Quan, I wouldn't like it if he was in like, if you took Robert out and put Quan in Rob's outfield, like, man, what are we doing here? But like Quan does the things that Tucker and Merrill don't do so it's like, it's a great fit of the three. So
yeah,
love it. Love that outfield. So this is.
Do you want to skim through the auction draft results?
Yeah, let's do it.
Scroll down a little further. They're there.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah.
There's more goodies. Oh my gosh.
So recap. ESPN 14-team auction. It's head-to-head. It's one win or loss. So the previous, it was total categories per week. You could go, 8 to 4 or, whatever. But this is just, it's a win or a loss per week head-to-head. And then it's like kind of like a semi-traditional 5x5, but it's OBP and QS. But
okay, let's buckle up. Let's get in this. Okay.
Yeah.
Top 6, bottom 6. Let's get it. Okay.
14.
Awesome.
Top 7, bottom 7.
14. Wells, Paul Goldschmidt, Hyson Scott, Paredes playing third base here. O'Neill, Cruz, Tatis. Okay. It's 14 teams. I gotta keep that in mind. Tatis, Lowe, Dominguez, Bohm, Profar. Better see some pitchers here. Fairbanks, Barrios, Cole Reagan, Spencer Strider, Felix Batista, Puck. We're going bottom half. Contreras, Vladito, Marcus Semien, Mark Venutos, Willie Adames, Christian Yelich, Parker Meadows, Evan Carter, Royce Lewis, Vinny Pasquantino. We're getting to Shohei Ohtani, Logan Gilbert, Suarez. This is 14 teams. Started really strong in both and quickly falls off. This has got to be Matthew's team. Yeah.
Yeah, right? You called it. It. Okay. That's hilarious.
Because he did something yesterday. I was just like,
yeah.
I saw like the first 3 names. I'm like, okay, like Venutos. And I'm like, what else happened? And then I'm like, starting pitchers. Love it. Otani, Gilbert, Suarez. What else happened? And so I was like, he told us his strategy. He's like, I spent all my money and then I had $1 people. I'm like, these look like $1 players after a while. I was like, okay.
He literally, half his team is $1 players. Literally.
That's what it looks like. There's Royce Lewis, Evan Carter. There's potential here, but like I'll say top half because the good players are very good. But
okay.
I mean, I can see how that goes bad. I think it'll be enough to get him in. I don't think he's a contender. Sorry, man. He'll be like a seventh team, sixth team. Jeffers, Bryce Harper, Cole Keith, Camilo, Tovar, Cheerio, Butler, Buxton, McCarthy, Valdez, Martin, Nestor Cortez. I was gonna bet this was your team. Nestor Cortez. No. I was really going to bet this was your team, but that Paul Skeens, Luke Weaver, Crochet, Munoz, Garcia, Nolan Gorman, Yu Darvish. I like that team. Top seven.
Okay.
Again, this is 14 teams, so people don't understand that for listening, like how quickly like just adding 2 teams makes like it.
Oh my gosh!
Like, these teams are so much worse. I'm like, yeah, they are. There's 14 teams, a full roster. That's a lot of players that are gone. Like,
and the roster size is the same. It's 24 dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
24. That's 48 players that are just out of the pool now that you have to draft that they wouldn't have been on a roster. So, Cassius, Gleyber Torres, Riley, Correa, Happ, like this team so far. Riley Green, Soler, Kyle Schwarber, and Yandy Diaz. Okay, Glasnow, Iglesias, BB, Durant, Snell, DeGrom, and Diaz. I love that team. Okay. That's definitely the front runner right now.
Yep.
This better not be your fucking team again. I look at all these players. I'm like, God damn, it looks like a JT team. I know Cody Bellinger, Bryce Terang, Shaw, CJ Abrams, White Langford, Kowser, Menudo, Bo Bichette, Volpe. Okay, that's a very solid team. Freddie Peralta, McGill, Rodon, Pepio, Nola, Salvador Perez, Diaz, Nando. Oh, they already have some. Taj Bradley, nice, way down there. I like that team, top half team. Or yeah,
okay.
I like that team. That's actually probably my second favorite team, other than the previous one. Colton Wong, Freddie Freeman, Marte, Garcia, Mookie Betts, Jackson Merrill, Victor Robles gets a little weak, but Lindor, why is Mookie? I guess Mookie Betts is like one of the people that'll be above Lindor. I was like, why is Lindor in their utility spot? Okay, that makes sense. He'll probably go to the outfield over Victor Robles. Start Swollenbach, Estes, Michael King, Yamamoto. Okay, we're bringing it back a little bit. Jansen, Kirby Yakes, Jared Jones. Oh no.
Although no structural, so he's just not going to pitch for 6 weeks. So
yep. So we're hoping
silver lining.
We're hoping here. I like that team too. I'm going to say top half team as well. I think these 3 are much better than the first 3 I saw. So let's put it that way. Yeah, top 3 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. These 3 teams are much better than the first 3 teams. Cal Raleigh, Naylor, Nico Horner, Jose Ramirez, Edwards, Chisholm, Mike Trout, PCA, that's Carl Armstrong for those at home. Jake Berger and Jock Peterson, very good bench inside the league. Presley, Romero. I get it's so confused. When I see pitchers start and they're not starting pitchers, I have to like check myself. I'm like, wait a second, did they not draft any starters? And I've done that like 5 times now. Okay, then Kirby, Bryce Miller. There's a lot of Mariners on this team. There's a lot. I forgot Cal Raleigh. There are 4 Mariners on this team. This can't be Rob. Rob's not doing an auction. Okay, so yeah. I was like, did he just do the same thing with another team? I like this team. I mean, you have 3 Mariners pitchers. They're all good. So the only problem is one is hurt at the moment. I say top half. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just Jose Ramirez, and in this team, Jazz Chisholm and Mike Trout, Cal Raleigh. That's enough to get you there. And I love this. I love the starting pitching. If once, Zach Gallen's your 4, Gossman's down there too. Like that's pretty deep in a 14-team league. Contreras, Christian Walker, Altuve, Matt Chapman, Corey Seager, Doyle, Reynolds, and Suzuki in the outfield. Westberg and Springer. Let's go starters. Webb, Imanaga, Hunter Green, Hunter Brown, Merrill Kelly. Sorry, Jackson Merrill. I was like, I had a temporary brain fart there for a second. Tanner Scott, Nick Martinez, Armstrong. Oh man, I think this team really good, no depth. Question mark that one for now. I really like the starters though, but man, anybody gets hurt, no depth. Rutschman, Matt Olson, Jimenez, Bregman, Bobby Witt, Randy Rosarina, Stephen Kwan, Edmonds, Bogarts, Pena, Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, Baz, blah blah blah. That is a bottom team. Love like what it could be, but when I got down to the pitchers, love their pitchers if they were further down. If you got an ace, would love it a lot more. Oh, Acuna Jr. on the bench, but still, no. It's not their issue. Hitting wasn't their issue. They'll be much better with Acuna. It's just, can you get anybody out? Any elite guys there. That's the only problem. Love, love some of the guys they got, but just they need a 1, really a 2 as well. Like Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo is your 1-2 it's just not cutting it anymore in 2025.
Baldwin, as that person was drafting, they were like, I hate how I've not gotten pitching. But he's like, I'm sticking to my principles, I'm sticking to my values, and unfortunately that's the way,
I've said that on the pod. I have done that while drafting. I did that during my work draft league. I hate what's happening right now. I hate what is going on. What I'm looking at is going terribly. Bell, Norby, Young, Cruz, Aaron Judge, Kyle Tucker, Julio, Brian Hayes made a roster. Nick Lodoto, Severino, Hayes Smith. Man, they spent a lot of money on Kyle Tucker and Aaron Judge and Ellie De La Cruz. It looks like Julio. They spent money on 4 players. 4 players. It looks like
Judge, Ellie, Henderson,
Gunnar Henderson's down there.
Tucker, Rodriguez. So this was an auto draft. So, yes, their first 5 players, they spent like 80% of the budget. Yeah.
I mean, to be completely honest, those 5 guys are very good and will definitely keep them in the hitting. So you can keep them a lot worse than those 5 guys.
It's a 1 win. So, I mean, like.
Yeah, like you just need, if you can outmatch, it's just Nick Lodolo is your ace. It's a real it's got to be bottom half, man. It's got to be. You can't whiff that much on starting pitching, and you just can't. I'm sorry. Got to be bottom. I got to see here. Okay. Will
4
Smith.
left.
What's up? Yeah, 4 left. I was just checking how many before I had. Will Smith, Reese Hoskins, Ozzy Albies, Max Muncy, Alvarez, Teoscar, Odolfo Garcia. Pretty solid outfield in a 14-team league, actually. Oh, Suarez on the bench. Gino on the bench is really nice in this team. He was a starter in the 12-team league, so that's really, honestly, pretty well done. Let's see here. Sandy is your 1. Joe Ryan is your 2. But again, Jack Flaherty, Kikuchi, Senga, Pavetta, all very solid. Abreu, Grayson Rodriguez is in there, but I say bottom. How many bottom teams do I have now? Is that 5?
That's 4. You have 1 bubble. So technically you have like 2 available-ish in the bottom and 1 available-ish in the top, and you have a buttable in the middle.
Okay. Ohapi, Castle, India, Machado, Valero, Soto, Santander, Castellanos. Nice. Brent Rooker. Nice. Let's see here with the starters. Bailey Ober, Sasaki, Steele, Seth Lugo. Okay. What RPs we got? Hesley, Resmi. Okay, so they kind of got 1 closer. Fitzgerald. Oh, they got Foley, I guess. Detroit's-ish.
Yep. Agreed. Okay.
JT Realmuto, Pete Alonso, Jackson Holiday, Devers, Trey Turner, Corbin Carroll, Duran, Michael Harris. Nice outfield again in the team. Cruz, Ha-Seong Kim. Well, that's awkward. Corbin Burns, Pablo Lopez, Shane McClanahan, Eflin, Aaron Getty, McClanahan. Let me just see some of the bench. I'm checking over here real quick. I'm cheating real quick. Okay. Man, where do I want to go with this? I bubble that team and put it in the middle of the bubble teams.
Yep. Same. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, that was because I got to look at this last team because I peeked at this pitching for this last game. I was like, holy crap. Then I saw the offense.
Yeah.
Diaz, Vaughn, Cronenworth, gross. Oh, just so far. Rengifo could be. Matt McClain, like, again, solid player. Woods, Robert, there is just nothing. I mean, are you going to hit 20 home runs other than Luis Robert? I mean, Matt McClain will do that, I guess. But
this team's going for the one win. You just dominate pitching, and you need one hitting category.
It's the same as that team with the 5, though. Like, I mean,
yeah,
it is Scooble, Wheeler, Cease, Sale, Class A, Estrada as the closers with Hader and Devin Williams. That offense is so bad, but that pitching is so good. This is one of the most extreme teams I've seen. I don't know what to do with them. You're like, it's a one-win league. It's a one-win team. Like, and this is viable because you're going to dominate. But, oh my gosh, you just have no hitting. You just have none.
Lowest bubble?
Lowest bubble. Yeah, lowest bubble. So I guess then by default, you know where they go then, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so we got kind of thirds. You got 4 at the bottom, 4 in the middle bubble, and then you have top 6 is what you established.
Yeah. Okay.
So unfortunately, you poo-pooed Tim and Andrew and Zach and Travis. Let's see.
Sorry, boys.
What was the most memorable? Travis. He just could not get any pitchers. He just kept to his principles, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh my gosh!" It was.
Yep.
It was one of those deals.
I've been there. It's just you're looking up and you're like, I have no running backs, and I have to draft the second in Minnesota. That's my starter. You're like, here we go, I guess. Like,
admittedly, he didn't really want Bobby Witt. He auto drafted it accidentally because he stepped away to like make a sandwich real quick. And he didn't know his thing was going to auto draft for him, and then he bit his lip or his cheek like super hard. He was like, I'm worried I'm gonna just like keep bleeding all draft. So I think that threw him off in his mental headspace. But
dang. Okay, what
IL
teams?
I think it's the first IL spot in the draft. I mean, I drank a ton of Slurpees one time in our live draft, and I had to go to the bathroom like a ton during it, but that wasn't really IL. But
you're just out of commish for a little bit, you know.
Our middle bubbles. So the last team that we just went over.
Who's that?
That's Scott's team.
I love the idea though. Like, I love it. I want to know how it works out because that rotation is gross in a 14-team league. That's gross in a 12-team league. That's gross in a 10-team league.
It's just gross. Yeah. Let's see. Scooble
Devin
49
Williams is your third closer.
So he goes Scooble 49, Wheeler 42, Cease 26, Sale 29, Class A 25, Hader 21, Devin Williams 21. And then basically, I mean, that's 70% of his budget because he only had like a handful of guys in the teens left. And
like 4 legit dude closers and at least 4 legit dude starters. Like, he has both Cy Young winners.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. The early bubble team you had was Henry. Okay. And then the most recent kind of bubbles right before this one was Jordan and Tommy.
Okay.
And then you called your brother's team, Matt. You called his team.
He's like a 6. He's like the 7th or 6th team. That's what he is. Like, I don't think the upside is there, but yeah.
Let's see. You had Peter in the playoffs. You got Eric, Bill, Kevin had all those Mariners. Yeah. We talked about that last night on the pod. And then I think your favorite team was my team.
The draft too much the same. Like, it's so it's like when I see it, and we're balanced. So it's just like, man.
Yeah, but I'm scared because my thought was dominate pitching and get a good enough hitting where I can steal a category too.
Yep.
So I mean, me and Scott are gonna have some good battles. Hopefully,
we lean both matter. Lean slightly pitcher heavy. I think it's what is more of our strategy. Yeah. So of course we're gonna probably like each other's teams the most, as long as we both just don't screw up during it. So yeah, I was just like, yeah, that's probably what it is. But because you do a good job of balancing it.
Because he's got. I'm competing again. I got Edwin Diaz, I got Mason Miller, I got Joan Duran, and I got Rafael Iglesias. I don't
Yeah,
think I could do any better for
yeah.
four closers.
You got
And
Snell, DeGrom's healthy. You got Robbie Ray there on the bench as a starter. Tyler Glass now also. BB is your fourth. Like, that's really nice. That's really nice. You got
Williams,
Jackson Jobe, snuck him down there.
That's the one. I almost said that, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't want to give it away."
I saw him, and Gavin Williams too.
I'm high on Gavin Williams.
Yeah,
I like him.
I was like, every single one of your pitchers, I was like, that is a good pitcher. And so I was like, and I couldn't say that for every team. I'm like, you have what? There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was like, those are 10 or 11. There's 11 pitchers, and I like all 11. I'm like, that's hard to do. So I was like, there we go.
I used all of my remaining auction money on my last pick, which was Dustin May, which probably gave it away.
Oh, I didn't scroll down. But Dustin May, yeah, he's right below Jackson Jobe. Yeah.
And so technically, because of that, Dustin May was my most expensive player on my team.
Well, there you go. And I just sent you a thing yesterday during about his 22-inch movement.
Yeah.
So
the only $30, so May isn't really worth 40, but I spent 30 on Riley, and then I have a ton in the 20s and the teens, and I was super comfortable doing that. I didn't want to go stars and scrubs, and I really like how that kind of played out. But I mean,
it's actually funny because you got Cassius. I like Cassius. Gleyber Torres, I talked about him in the previous one. I think he's gonna very solid player for Detroit. Austin Riley, love Austin Riley. Correa, if he's healthy, no problem there. I said Ian Happ in the previous team, who you didn't have. I said he's underrated. Riley Green, I like Riley Green, and Kyle Schwarber and Yandy Diaz on your bench as your utility guys. I like both those utility guys. So I was like, you didn't punt. You hit a home run with pitchers, and you didn't punt hitting. I feel like teams who did that, like hit a home run somewhere, punted the other. You're one of like 3 teams, I think, that hit a home run and didn't punt the other side. And so, and you went deeper on what you hit a home run on than the other teams did. And I was like, that's why I like it.
Oh, no. Yeah. I was like, I gotta lock it down, and I gotta double up on it. And I gotta just literally, I was like, okay, I have 4 elite closers. I will never touch them during the week. So that leaves 2 starters and then 2 random pitch spots. So I got 4. So in my head, I'm like, I want 8. I want them to be able to pitch as much as possible, and if I have too many pitching on a day, that's a good problem to have. And so I ended up with 10, but I mean, I got Robbie Ray for $6. So
yeah, that's nice. It was funny that when I called Matthew's team, because I was like, Contreras, nice. Guerrero, nice. Simeon, okay. And then I was like, what happened? And I was like, okay, well, it's 14-team league. And then I was like, let's see what the pitchers are. I was like, Ohtani, nice. Gilbert, nice. Suarez, what is going on? And then I know Matthew in our podcast was like, I got a bunch of dudes I liked and then nothing. I was like, this looks like I said this before just now. I was like, this looks like 6 dudes and a bunch of $1 guys. And I was like, so I was like, it has to be Matthew's team. I've only looked at 2 teams, but this has to be Matthew's team because this is the definition of stars and scrubs.
Right.
And there's guys in there that I do like Vinny Pasquantino. I like Royce Lewis a lot. Can he play? But man, Christian Yelich is your best outfielder. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? So I didn't even look at his bench super closely. He drafted Jimenez. Carlos Santana. There's guys that should be playing on your real baseball team because they're what they bring, but they should not be on your fantasy team. So, yeah. Oh, I didn't see Sean Murphy down here on this guy's team with Ryan Jeffers. Oh, Ryan Jeffers, though, that's not a big downside. That's not a big downside. Who was Henry's team?
Seager, Altuve, Logan Webb, Imanaga.
Seager and Altuve. Right there. Yep. Okay. Contreras.
It was lacking the depth. That was the team where it was a good, and then all of a sudden you're
I was like, how did I do this? I was like, Altuve, Seager, I like that. Chapman's solid. Walker's solid. And I was like, I like all this, and this is pretty solid. I'm like, it gets kind of there. Then I was like, Imanaga, but I'm like, yeah, the bench. Burleson, JJ Bleday, Ortiz, Soderstrom. Man, I'm not a big fan of Tyler Holton either. Merrill Kelly, no, I want no part of that. And that's your, that is playing for you. Brennan Doyle is in the outfield for you. I'm just, crept in too much in the starting team too. And I get that some in the 14 isn't going to be as good, but I was just like, man, there's too many guys on your active roster that ain't great, and your bench is just a non-existent at this point. So
yeah,
it was just hard to overcome. You said who by the way? You said Travis? Yeah. Luis Castillo is your starter. Yeah. Is your ace. Yeah.
Just that's the way it went. And so I should have said, hey, well, look at me and Scott, like obviously
you guys stick them all.
So Scott represented, what you would have done. So
yeah, well, we
in a way
did that
for
in
pitching.
This league. We literally did that in this ESPN league one year when we took all the pitchers, and we've talked about it on this podcast where we're like, they're all of ours. you have to come to us.
Yeah, I was a little too.
We held the wheat in Catan, and you had to come to us.
Yeah, I was a little too. I think obviously there's a ton of hitters, and there's one in particular. It was early on, and again, the first draft went 10 minutes. It ended 10 minutes before this one, so I had to scarf down some food, and I missed Pete Alonso. He got a really good value, and I knew it in the moment. I'm like, I went to go click, and I missed it. I mistimed it, and that's my one regret.
My critique of your team is I like 55-45 to lean pitchers. You probably went 60-40. So you probably could have gone
only because this is a 1 win per week. I was like, I knew,
but like you said, if you had just taken a Pete Alonso and probably balanced it just like that one, it probably almost would have been perfect.
Yeah, because even
one more better hitter, and you could probably save some money and not gone a pitcher at one point. But like,
Pete Alonso went for 29, so I mean, like,
who's your first baseman?
I think it was Casas.
Still fine though. Like, not a huge downgrade, I don't think. I mean, would you really be that surprised if he had a better year than Pete Alonso? I wouldn't be that shocked, to be honest. I think Pete Alonso's down, Casas is going up. So
sure,
but yeah, you probably could have had maybe one better outfielder, maybe. But like, it's fine. Yeah, that's good. Good drafts. Hate that I named you number one on both of them. That sucked. But it is what it is.
I got 3 things real quick because I know we're going long. Dad strength. I got it in. So you got to scroll all the way up. Spring training, dad strength. I got home run distances. Because as of this recording, we got baseball opening day tomorrow. Will Benson, demoted Will Benson with the 465-foot shot. Took the cake for spring training.
Chris Bryant, number 2, though.
Hey-o.
Back? Don't call it a comeback?
Right?
462. Okay. A lot of red hats on the top. Just teams with red hats.
Yeah, I see you, red hats.
That's just like a lot of teams with red hats. Okay. I mean, I don't want to say who's the most shocking because, spring training, there's going to be some guys you'll probably never hear of again that make this list.
But good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
So shout out Milan Tolentino, Ruben Ibarra.
You're taking shots at names that I'm glad you're taking shots at names.
Matt Gorski, Bryce Eldridge.
I've heard of Bryce Eldridge, though, at least.
Gabriel Arias.
Yeah.
Will Wilson. That's okay. Really?
When they don't have
William Wilson.
When they don't have name faceplates on Baseball Savant, you know, of all the places, Baseball Savant has like problems with baseball. Like if Baseball Savant were a husband in a relationship, the wife would be like, stop doing baseball stuff. And if Baseball Savant doesn't have your picture, you're probably not heard of you.
Right. But at the same time, we got some big prospect names sneaking in. Jack, was it Caglione for Kansas City? He had that big one.
Yep.
And then Travis Bazzana from the OSU product, now with Cleveland. He's sneaking in there.
It looks like his OSU picture, doesn't it?
It
Like,
is.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, like, that is not a major league shot. And
Nick Kurtz with now, yeah, the Athletics. He's one of their top prospects. So,
who's the first time you see a double dipper appear is what I want.
oh man, Caglione,
I keep seeing
33,
I
and then
keep
15.
thinking I see Jackson Merrill, but I guess not. Yeah, I think you're right. It's Jack. Good for you, Jack.
Nice.
There's a
And
couple
then
Royals up here.
yeah, and then the
Roy
other link
Bichette,
we
maybe no call.
got.
There's Jackson Merrill. He's at 37, so he's probably this. Or Contreras is probably. Yep, Contreras actually beats him. So actually, it's funny I say that Caglione is 34, Contreras is 34, and that's his second one on there. So they're at timeout, both 435, but let's scroll up. Contreras 453 and only 444. So due to distance, Contreras wins. There you go.
Had to be someone.
Had to be someone, but nice.
And then exit velo, nothing like super crazy. Top
The
dog,
guy, our king, doesn't have elbows anymore. So
right?
they just don't. He doesn't have. He can't bend his arms.
Well, there's a new king. It's Shohei Ohtani. He had the hardest hit exit. Like, of course he did, right?
Yeah.
Vladito coming into, and then Joneski Noel back to back. Isn't that your guy, Mr. Christmas?
Well, and he was on there for the longest home runs. He was in top 10 as well. And these are both singles. So
what's his nickname? He's got a funny
something. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. Look up Jack Caglione here too, though. Not top 10 as well on this list. Vladito as well.
Big Christmas.
Big Christmas. Oscar Gonzalez, what a name. Love the name. Vladito again, 2 hits. Jack Caglione, 2 hits in the top 17. Dominic Canzone, Mariners 114. Who would have thought? Will Benson up here, JT, 14.
Oh, there you go.
That must have been a shot. Oh, Nolan Jones with his new team, same of before, getting traded back, right?
Kind of. Little awkwardness. He was an Indian, but now he's a Guardian. Is that?
Did you also hear the
awkward?
story about? You sent me the story about his buddy being traded for each other, finding out on the phone that they were traded for each other. That's gotta be awkward.
I just got traded. I'm coming to Cleveland. He's like, wait, I got traded. I'm going to. Oh no.
Yeah. Calling each other to be like, I'm on your team again. Well, how about that?
How about that? Okay. Well, third thing, Dad Bod Player of the Week. I got one. I'm hyped about it.
Okay.
So runner up, maybe in the future we'll give it to Big Christmas, 6'3", 250.
He qualifies.
That
is not a little Christmas.
Yeah, 23 years old, Cleveland Guardians. So hey, you got some potential in the future. Hat tip. But I'm going with somebody else who's 250, but only 6 foot. So he's a little bit, more the Dad Bod-ish. He's only 19 years old. He's not even in the big leagues. His name is Rintaro Sasaki.
Yeah. Okay.
He plays at Stanford.
Yeah, he's the Japanese guy who had all those home runs, and then he's playing college ball.
Yes, so he
forgo the posting.
Forgo the posting because he wanted to potentially get to the majors at a younger age than going through the whole traditional Japanese thing because they control your rights a little bit more stringently. So he's at Stanford. He's 100 plate appearances in.
Yep.
And he's got that ginormous home run, but he's got just under 900 OPS. So he's doing just fine.
He's doing some work.
But at 17, he was listed 6 foot 250. He's now 19, and on the college roster, he's listed 6 foot. So he didn't grow anymore. Yeah. But 230. So
he grew. He hit a tank.
He's getting that college all you can eat diet.
He goes to that cafeteria and puts in the work, and it's showing up on the diamond because he turned on one, man. I was like, oh, and I love the college one because they don't zoom in on the ball where it's hit; they just zoom out. And so it's like as soon as it's going further, it zooms out and out and out. And the college stadiums, it's just like streets and buildings. It's just like you're just like it's in the trees over there somewhere. You're just like they just have to keep zooming out. And the guy's like, I found it, and like zooms in on the ball. Like that's how college works every time. You're like really far out, and we'll find it. And yeah, you try to find it with your eye. You're like, Eep, there it is. Went over there in the state. Yeah, he hit a tank shot. So yeah, I know. I saw him the other day too. College baseball started. Gosh, baseball tomorrow, JT. One more sleep, and then baseball. What's your thought before we get out of here? I'm looking at the roster. There are 3 games after 1 o'clock. What are we doing here? Baseball. I did. Our buddy Rachel did bring a good point. College, March Madness is tomorrow, but I mean, you're baseball, man. Come on, like I get. March Madness is a thing, but at a certain point, you got to plant your flag. Like just be your opening day baseball. They're going to come to your opening day baseball.
Right.
That's what it's going to be. Just plant your flag. Or start on a Wednesday. You know what I mean? Start the day before. If you're so worried about it, start the day before. I just don't get it. You could have the day all to yourself if you just were 1 day earlier, 24 hours earlier.
I entered in an MLB contest. I got an email, so I entered it in, and it was like how many you had to pick which team was going to strike out, like pitching wise, more than the other. So every single matchup tomorrow, and 28 of 30 teams play tomorrow.
Okay.
And then the tiebreaker was two parts. The first part was how many total strikeouts will happen on opening day tomorrow.
Okay.
And how many total strikes will be thrown during opening day tomorrow. So I had to StatCast it because I was just like, what was it last year?
Yeah.
What are the matchups this year?
Yeah.
How many innings do I think they'll get? Oh, the first question was starters. How many strikeouts would the starters get? So that was a little bit, you could kind of guess a little bit better. So we'll see. Maybe it'll happen. So, but there's a lot of good pitching matchups tomorrow. That's the best part of opening day. You're like,
yeah, because you got all the aces.
Oh yeah.
I saw. Someone was talking. Oh man, I forgot it real quick. They were saying like it's the first year that there's no like reigning Cy Young winner or something like. No, it's like there's usually been like a Cy Young, 2 Cy Youngs always pitching against each other on it, but that's not this year on opening day. And someone was like, "What about the Blake Snell matchup?" And someone was like, "Not opening day because the Dodgers have played." So, yep, technicality.
It's their home opener because the Dodgers were away.
Yes.
But yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, and that's all I do apparently. That's the Athletic one, Starkville, and the radio announcer, old Phillies player, can't remember his name. Oh my gosh, I listen to him every week too. Great announcer, went to Penn State. Oh gosh, I know everything about the guy. But anyways, he's from Trinidad and Tobago, where his dad is. And so, anyways, so he was talking about how when he played for the Phillies, he had in 3 series had opening days. So he had opening day, open on the road, opening day, home opening day. Oh no, it was home opening day for the Phillies. Next series was opening day for whatever other team. Then they went on the road again, opened a new ballpark. So he had 3 opening days to start the season. Like basically, boom, boom, boom.
Wow,
I was like, that's crazy. Like, legitimately 3 opening days in a row. So some teams have more opening days, JT, than just others. You know how it works. There you go.
It is what it is.
Sweet. Well, you got our Dad Bod, and we got a Dad Bod brewing. As they say, cultivating mass. They're just they're eating a bag full of chimichangas.
That's how you do it.
That's how you cultivate the mass. So we shout out. We respect cultivating mass here. We definitely do. I did buy bulk burritos from Costco, so I'm just a grocery bag away from being Mac. So
you're ready.
I'm just gonna throw gas. Put them in a bag. Yeah, there we go.
What's the baseball? I've seen this couple shirts like lift big, throw hard, lift mass, throw gas.
So I see. I like it.
Boom. Yeah.
They'll also bring back a classic. What they need to bring back is a shirt that has Glavine and Maddox doing the bump and it says Chick dig the long ball. Just bring it back. I just want the picture of them doing the bump and Chicks dig the long ball. Just those two. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Classic 90s commercials.
Shout out to the Mariners commercials as well. Those are always good.
They're excellent.
All right, that was long. That was fun. But here comes MLB opening day. So we'll catch you next week with all the news and notes. And enjoy it. Tweet at us, Fantasy Dad Pods. But hopefully everyone drafted well. Good luck this year. And as always, we thank you for joining us. We appreciate you listening. Take care, be well, and until next time, see ya.
See ya.